Alright guys, I'm just bringing you into the wind pattern, the low level winds that are occurring around the UK at the moment. I've been getting very strong hits tonight, up to 0.22 microsieverts, so that's 0.22 microsievert hits. One of the clouds I went through was probably about at least 5 miles deep, and it got to 0.22 microsieverts. So that was kind of down Peckham, down by the hills there, but in South London. And I got 3 hits in about an hour, I would say, up to 0.21 and another one at 0.2. And I've got a video I'm putting up when I got home, just outside of London, West London, and I got up to 0.18 microsieverts, but that was quite a short one. But these other 0.22 and 0.21 microsievert rises were quite well, they were quite long in duration, should we say, like for 5 and 10 and 15 minutes. So they were quite large, and they were coming directly, I believe, if I was to look at that map there, really, I would say it was coming directly from Le Hague. And we have the remnants of that, and I have that on another map here. But before I do that, I just wanted to do a little forecast, so I'm going to back out a little bit. We have a storm front coming in, and the winds are set to change and start heading southerly again. So there's going to be a storm come through on Monday in the southern area of England. It's going to pick up a lot of this pollution that's out there from Le Hague and God knows where, and then it's going to start moving up the west coast of Norway. So for people in the west coast of Norway, the rain that's going to be coming up to you in the next day or so, by sort of, I would have thought, Tuesday, basically Monday and Tuesday, that rain could have contaminants in it. This rain could also peel off and head towards Denmark, but it's unsure at the moment, but it's certainly heading up that way. And then the winds change and they start coming south again, so that's good for the west coast of Norway. But we'll see that storm front change the wind conditions altogether everywhere, but at the moment it's looking like Le Hague. And if I just quickly go to the other wind forecast, this is a little bit more unclear and done a bit later. So this is, but when I was getting hits, you can see arrows straight from London, and I'll just try and show you that there's a little bit jutting out there that's kind of Le Hague, and there's an arrow coming from it, and the arrow points straight to the next one, and you end up in East London, where I got those very high hits. Now to the left of East London, I'm from West London, I'm getting a lower hit of 0.18 microsieverts. So maybe this is very directional. Quite strong winds, by the way. They're not slow. If I put the mouse over it, it'll give me about 7 to 10 miles an hour. So they're reasonably fast moving and swift and direct, and heading to Norway. And the rain front should clear that as it comes through, hopefully, but that will be taken to Norway. But then the wind changes, and it may well be all coming back again, but we shall see. So basically, you've got the winds coming in, circling up, and there's a storm front that's coming there. Storm front should be heading up the Channel, up to Norway and Denmark, possibly, but the west coast of Norway is at risk. Anyway, I'll leave you with that, and I'm going to post up with this. I shall post up some isotopic evidence of the last video I did, which is just the peaks around Budapest and what have you. It's just the graphs that I couldn't squeeze in on the last video I did, describing the earthquake in Turkey that caused a release at a medical or scientific reactor. Okay, and I'll just post the other stuff up now.
Walking down the Mercer Street, been alone See the sign on the road to somewhere. Bring it on, come along on the road to somewhere. Take your time, see the sign on the road to somewhere.
Okay, we'll start. This is the monitor at Dieppe, and we know there were some problems there, and certainly on April the 4th, a day to remember, we got up to, well, it was just 0.8 something, 0.82 microsieverts approximately, and that seemed to go on for maybe an hour or an hour or so, hard to tell. I was just going to bring you to Hungary, so it's not too far from Budapest, and we've had problems there, and we're getting a 0.36 peak there, lasted maybe an hour or two, and then basically, as you can see, we have multiple switch offs for the 4th, for the 5th, for the 6th, and you'll see in other places around Europe. I'm getting very suspicious on Hungary at the moment, but you'll see in other places around Europe where you'll find a wave pattern that kind of matches these switch offs here. But obviously that's one of the higher spots in the southern part or eastern part of Europe. We're at Budapest, Hungary, and obviously there's been issues with the IAEA trying to cover up this particular one for many months. They only admitted this year that there was a problem with it, and they're not admitting the extent of the problem of the land contamination around the Budapest medical reactor. It's reeking with iodine 124, I believe, which lasts for 2 years. It has a very long half-life, unlike iodine 131. But that's all reported on CRERAD. They've done soil samples and what have you, and put out advisories to local people to avoid milk and dairy produce. And it's going to be for longer than the 3-month period that you would expect. It's going to be longer because of the specific isotope of iodine that it hangs around quite a long time. So we come to Budapest, and now this is my suspect reactor, because they lie about it so much, and there's some real problem with it. It's a medical reactor, they need the isotopes, they keep it running, it's business. So the 5th, when we get to sometime before lunchtime, we get a switch off, and we can see that it's switched back on the 6th. So there's a slightly separate thing. What happened there? Well, I got a purple, that means more than 0.4 microsievert, so that can be 1 microsievert, or it can be 0.41 microsievert. So anyway, there we are, and we've got to 12 o'clock on the 6th of April and a little bit beyond, so and then there's a switch. Okay, and as we're on Budapest, Hungary here, just to show you, we did the week view and we saw a big switch off, and we can definitely see the switch off here. This is a 2-day view, and when we bring it right up to the 7th at 12 o'clock, which it is, you can see there's still switched off, so there's still a problem. And that's Hungary. And this is Penhastor das, Portugal. We can see that it's burbling along at about 0.18, but I'll just scroll it down a bit. But you can see that on the 4th, just towards the end of the 4th, there's a peak of up to 0.33 microsieverts, and we do have a kind of a pattern there. So just wondering where this hit all over Europe is coming from with on the 5th of April. But certainly whether they've coordinated a release all over Europe at the same day, I don't know. but it's very high in Portugal. This Agri Turkey. We're sort of kind of heading towards the a bit nearer to the Turkish reactor problem there, which I think is a separate problem by the look of it. It runs from the switch off runs from the 2nd. It comes back on the 5th briefly, and well, we'll have to wait and see how that proceeds. See if any more data points come in. And but that's definitely a bit of a switch off there in Turkey, and that's basically where we thought there was a rather large emission after an earthquake.